Right now, someone is sitting in a dealership waiting room, handing over $80 for something that costs $9 at any auto parts store, and it takes 5 minutes to do yourself. 5 minutes? And the worst part? The dealership knows exactly what they're doing. They've been doing it for decades. Millions of Americans every single year walk out of that service bay thinking they got a deal. They didn't. They got robbed in broad daylight with a smile and a complimentary coffee. We're talking about your cabin air filter, that little rectangular piece of material sitting behind your glove box, one of the simplest, most accessible parts in your entire vehicle. And dealerships across America have turned it into a $71 profit margin on a 5-minute job they sometimes don't even do correctly. 6.1 million Americans paid for this service last year alone. You do that math. That's nearly $500 million, pulled straight out of the pockets of regular people who just wanted clean air in their car. But here's what they don't want you to figure out. You can buy the exact same filter, sometimes the exact same brand, for $8 to $12 at AutoZone, Walmart, or Amazon. You can snap it in yourself in the time it takes to reheat your coffee. No tools, no mechanical knowledge, no appointment, nothing. So why don't people know this? That's the question we need to sit with for a minute, because the answer tells you everything about how the auto service industry actually works. Stay with me, because before this video is over, I'm going to show you exactly how to do this yourself, what filter to buy, and why the dealership system was specifically designed to make you feel like you couldn't. Think about the last time you took your car in for an oil change. Simple, routine. You're sitting there reading a 3-month-old magazine and the service advisor walks out with a clipboard. And on that clipboard is a list: tire rotation, brake fluid flush, wiper blades, and right there near the top, almost every single time, cabin air filter replacement recommended. And they say it with this tone, this concerned, almost urgent tone, like your lungs are in immediate danger, like the air coming through your vents right now is basically a health hazard. And you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't want bad air in my car. My kids ride in that car. My wife rides in that car. Fine, just do it. That moment right there, that exact moment of uncertainty mixed with a little fear, that is worth billions of dollars to the dealership industry every single year. Because here's what they know that you don't. The cabin air filter is one of the most user-serviceable parts on almost every modern vehicle. Hyundai, Toyota, Honda, Ford, GM, BMW. It doesn't matter. Engineers actually design these things to be consumer replaceable. There are YouTube videos with millions of views showing people swap it out in 3 minutes flat without even reading the manual. But the dealership doesn't want you watching those videos. They want you sitting in that waiting room with the flat screen and the free Wi-Fi feeling grateful that they caught it. Now hold on, because I need to tell you something that's going to reframe this entire thing for you. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. This isn't just about a filter. This is about a system. A carefully built industry-wide system designed to keep you dependent, confused, and opening your wallet every single time you pull into that service bay. They didn't hide this because it fails. They hid it because it works too well. Think about that for a second. The information on how to replace your own cabin air filter is not secret. It's in your owner's manual. It's online. It's on the filter box itself. But the industry has spent decades conditioning you to believe that anything under that hood or behind that glove box requires a professional, requires a uniform, requires a bay with a hydraulic lift and a computer diagnostic system. They created a psychology of helplessness around your vehicle, and it has been extraordinarily profitable. Your grandmother already knew this. She used it every single day. Not the filter specifically, but the principle. The principle that the people selling you something have a financial interest in making it seem more complicated than it is. She fixed things herself. She read labels. She asked questions. She didn't hand over her wallet just because someone in a uniform looked confident. We lost that somewhere. Somewhere between the convenience economy and the trust the expert culture, we stopped asking the most important question. Why does this cost so much? Let me take you back. Back to the 1940s in Detroit, Michigan. American auto manufacturing is exploding. Engineers and line workers and mechanics all understood cars at a fundamental level because they had to. There was no Google. There was no dealer network with 17 service bays. You learned your machine. You maintained it yourself. You knew every part by name. A factory mechanic named Earl, working the line at a GM plant in 1947, kept a handwritten notebook. In it, he documented every serviceable part on the vehicles coming off that line. Parts that any owner could maintain. Filter replacements, fluid checks, belt inspections. Simple stuff. Stuff that didn't require a lift or a code reader or a degree. That notebook got passed around the shop floor. Guys took it home, showed their wives, showed their neighbors, because knowledge like that had real value, real dollar value. Fast forward 30 years, and the dealership service model is fully institutionalized. That notebook and everything like it is buried. Not because the information became wrong, but because the information became dangerous to a very specific business model. Now let me break down what a cabin air filter actually does, because understanding this makes the scam even more obvious. Your car's HVAC system pulls air from outside the cabin through a filter before it circulates through your vents. That filter catches dust, pollen, mold spores, exhaust particles, and other debris. Over time, it gets clogged. When it's clogged, your airflow drops, your AC system has to work harder, and yes, the air quality inside your car gets worse. At the molecular level, what's happening is actually straightforward. The filter media, usually a pleated paper or electrostatic material, uses a combination of mechanical interception and electrostatic attraction to pull particles out of moving air. Larger particles get physically caught in the pleats. Finer particles get pulled toward the charged fibers. When those fibers are coated in enough debris, they stop attracting. They stop filtering effectively. That's it. That's the whole science. And the solution is equally simple. You remove the old one, you slide in a new one, the system works perfectly again. There's no calibration needed, no reset procedure, no torque spec. You literally cannot install it wrong because it only fits one way. Most of them have an arrow showing airflow direction, and even that is sometimes printed right on the filter housing. So let's talk about the money for a second, because this is where I need you to feel something. The average American owns their car for about 8 years. Most manufacturers recommend replacing the cabin air filter every 12 to 15,000 miles, or roughly once a year depending on your environment. If you live somewhere dusty or urban, maybe twice a year. If you pay the dealership every single time, you're spending somewhere between $80 and $120 per replacement. Over 8 years, that's potentially $800 or more. On a part that costs $9, on a job that takes 5 minutes, that's not a service fee, that's a tax on not knowing better. And they have collected that tax from you, your parents, your neighbors, and 6.1 million other Americans just last year. If you've made it this far, you already know more than 99% of car owners sitting in a dealership waiting room right now. So here's exactly what you do. Go to your glove box, open it all the way and squeeze the sides slightly inward to get it past the stop tab so it drops down fully. Behind it, you'll see a plastic housing cover. It's usually held in place by 2 small clips or tabs, sometimes just one. Press those tabs and the cover comes right off. Slide the old filter out. Look at it. You'll probably see it coated in gray dust and debris, sometimes matted leaves or insect fragments, depending on where you live. That's what's been cycling through your vents. Now, before you buy a replacement, take the old one to the auto parts store or measure it, because filters vary by vehicle. A Fram CF10134, a Bosch, Boss, or similar, most run between $8 and $15. Confirm your vehicle's fitment on the box, or type in your year, make, and model on the store's filter kiosk. Slide the new filter in. You'll feel it seat cleanly. Replace the housing cover, snap it shut, swing the glove box back up, done. You just did in 5 minutes what the dealership charges $80 for. When you do this yourself, what you'll notice visually is immediately better airflow from your vents. If your AC felt slightly weak or your defrost felt sluggish, a clogged cabin filter is often a contributing factor people never consider. Imagine that first blast of clean air actually moving the way it's supposed to. And here's what makes me genuinely angry. Not frustrated. Angry. This information is not classified. Nobody buried it in a vault. It's right there in your owner's manual on page whatever. But the industry has spent billions of dollars on service lane training, on service advisor incentive programs, on the entire psychology of the write-up process, to make sure you never think to look there yourself. They need you to feel unqualified, uncertain, a little intimidated. Because the moment you feel capable, you stop being profitable. The plumbing industry does it, the roofing industry does it, the appliance repair industry does it. Pick any service sector where the cost of parts is low and the markup on labor is high, and you will find this same pattern. Complexity is manufactured. Dependency is engineered. Profit is extracted. Every year you don't know what's in your own car, what's replaceable, what's serviceable, what's simple. You are leaving real money on the table. Money that could be in your pocket. This channel exists for one reason: to dig up what got buried, to put knowledge back in the hands of regular people. Not mechanics, not millionaires, not people with trade school degrees. Regular people who deserve to know how their own stuff works. If you want to stop paying industry prices for industry lies, subscribe right now and hit the bell. Every single week, we pull back another curtain, another system, another scam built on your confusion. And before you leave, share this. Send it to your dad, who just got a dealer bill. Send it to your friend who's about to take their car in. Send it to anyone who's ever sat in a waiting room handing over money they didn't need to spend. Every share keeps alive what the industry tried to erase.